Hi guys, Tony here from Guitar Made Easy by Tony. And this is a place where I help beginner guitarists take it to the next level in their guitar playing journey by teaching them cool stuff like blues, improvisation, and lead guitar. That's what we're going to be looking at today, lead guitar. And lead guitar, it's a little bit of a mystery when you're starting to learn guitar. You don't really know where to start, what to do. People are talking about scales, arpeggios, and funky stuff, I don't know. But today what I'm going to show you is something really simple. It's something that you're going to be able to implement right away. Even if you've been playing for a while, you might not know this. This might be something you're not used to, because we're not going to be looking at the traditional scales and things to play lead with. Now, what I've done is I have created a backing track, so if you do want to practice this and play about with this on your own, then you can do that. You just need to go to my website in the description below. There'll also be some tab there with the little licks that I'll be showing you. If you sign up, there's lots of other lessons and lots of cool stuff on there as well, over 8 hours of lessons, so I'll leave that in the description below. But anyways, let's just get on with the lesson. Pick up your guitar and let's get started. Okay, so again, we don't need to know any crazy scales or theory to start soloing right away. Now, what I'm going to show you is really simple, but it sounds really good, and it's something that you can implement right away. And we're going to start off basic, and we're going to get a little bit more complex as the lesson goes on, but it's going to be good fun. Alright, so I'm going to put down a little backing track here on my looper. Now again, I have made a little backing track for you guys that's on my site. Again, I'll leave that in the description. It's got some drums and bass, and it's good fun to play along with as well. So I hope you enjoy that. But yeah, we've got a G. It's a C. To a D, back to a G, alright, we're good to go. So that's the track, right? It's a very simple chord progression. Now this is very useful even if you do know scales and you do know some cool stuff. But this is pretty cool because we can play over the chord changes, right? And that sounds really melodic. When you're just using a scale up and down, a lot of times you're not targeting notes, and you're not, you don't create great melodies because you're not thinking about the chords and the chord changes. So this is very useful to play alongside scales and things as well. So we're going to take the D chord. All right, that's it. We're going to take the D shape, and we're going to use that as our visual tool. Now, chords are movable on the guitar. Alright, so I'm not going to get right into that at the moment, but if we take the D chord, the D shape, and we move that to the 7th and 8th fret, we have the G chord. Alright, now the G is just 3 notes, all major and minor chords. In their basic form, it's just 3 notes, right? So the G here, you've got a G, a B, a D, a G, a D, and a G. Alright? And here we have a triad, okay? So a D shape is just a triad, these 3 notes, alright? Which make up the D chord. Or the G chord, sorry. So on 7 and 8, I've got the G. On 12 and 13, I have a C. And guess what? Here's the D, alright? So, we're going to start off with some basic. I'm going to give you some more notes than that, right? So, we are going to get a little bit more complex. So, we're going to be able to create some really cool melodies. But right now, we're just going to start with that. We're going to arpeggiate those notes. And that's what an arpeggio is. An arpeggiation, I think that's a word, where we're going to be taking the notes individually. Like that. So I don't want us to get into the chord, I want us to actually play the notes with our 3 separate fingers. Like that, right? And that's the first practice, right? So over a G. And then a C. then a D, back to G. Alright? And that's it. Okay, so again, it doesn't matter what chords you've got, you're able to do that. If you can find the D shape, and if it's a minor, you can also use the D minor shape, for example. So an E minor, you can play here. Anyways, I'm going to go off on a tangent. So, we're not going to do that. We're going to keep it simple, okay? So after you have become comfortable just going up and down the note, like that, start to be a little bit more creative with it. Alright, just mix and match, and you know, do a few different rhythm ideas. Alright, and hopefully you can already start to hear how some melodies come together, right? It doesn't sound great at the moment, but you can start to see something coming together. Now, what we're going to do is we've got to take some notes outside of that, alright, that are in, you know, the scale of that particular chord. So, again, using this as a tool, a visual tool, the D shape, we're going to add in 2 more notes, okay? So we're going to add in 8 on the high E. Okay, this is in the G chord. Alright. We're also going to add in 7 on the B, alright? So, we basically get this. 8, 7, 8, 7, 7. There are notes. Alright. And let's see what we can do with that. G, C. D. Now, again, what I'm doing here is I'm really getting my fingers used to the positions rather than really trying to play something melodic. So that's good for muscle memory. But you don't also have to play all the notes. Once you've got the notes in your head, you don't need to play them all. You can just, it's just a visual tool, so you can then start to make a melody. So then try to be a little bit more creative with it. Again, just taking notes that sound good and see if you can find like a hook, like a catch. So, then okay, so we're starting to hear it come along a little bit, right? We're starting to hear a melody come out. So let's add in some more notes and let's see what else we can come up with. Okay, so the next notes we're going to add in, again, looking at the G chord here, right? So we've got to get 7, 8, we've got to add in 10, okay? So let's go back and we've got 10, 8, 7, then on the B, exactly the same, 10, 8, 7, and then on the third string, we've got 9, 7. And that's all again round the D shape, okay? Alright, that's going to sound really good over the chords. So let's just have a little jam of that. Alright, and then C. D. Alright. And again, there you have it. You have some cool notes to use round about those chords. Now let's see if we can get a melodic hook. So again, it's not about playing as many notes as you can and making something sound really complex. It's about finding a hook. You might only need a couple of those notes, 2 or 3, to actually create a melody and move it around. So let me do something that will hopefully give you some ideas, alright? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just use the B string in those notes, alright? So, and then after the first round, I'll move on to the high E and do something like that. So, G to C, D, back to G. See, I'm feeling a melody now. It's an high E. C, D, both. Alright, so obviously you can get more complex, more complicated with it as you go along, but it's a very good place to start. So I hope you found some use for that. It's something that I use. Now I do, that's not the only thing. All chord shapes are movable on the fretboard. So you can imagine if you can do that with the C shape, with the G shape, with the A shape, and you've got all of those in your head over time, along with scales and different things, that is how it all comes together eventually. But this is a very good starting place. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, leave me a comment. Let me know how you're getting on. And yeah, enjoy, and I'll see you soon with the next lesson.